welcome back. So it is Friday. It is our documentary of the week. This is one for my wrestling fans, although even if you're not a wrestling fan, I still think you should check out the documentary that I am about to talk about, and that is the HBO documentary on Andre the Giant. Oh my god, what a documentary. I know I'm pretty late to the game on this documentary because it literally was shown last month, beginning of last month, week of WrestleMania. So I think it was like April like 10th or something, or 9th or something that it aired. But it is, this was such a good documentary. I literally, God, it had me like Niagara Falls. Yeah. It really is such a well done documentary. I mean, it goes, it talks about, Andre's, beginnings, or, beginning of his life up in France and everything, and then how he kind of ended up starting getting into eventually wrestling and everything, and how like his first gimmick, one of his first gimmicks was that he was like a lumberjack or something, and that was his little gimmick to get into the wrestling business, and then how it changed to, just Andre the Giant, and that he was from the French Alps and everything. So it talks about so much, and it even talks about like some of his acting and stuff, like his acting in the $6 Million Man. And one of the guys who's on here, I can't forget if he's like a wrestling historian or what, or just like a film critic or what, but he was saying, like when he did like a lot of that early stuff, like, like $6 Million Man, it's like there wasn't CGI back then, so it's like if you needed like a giant or something to play like a Sasquatch or something, like it was pretty much like, okay, where's Andre the Giant? We need someone to look like their Sasquatch. Where's Andre the Giant? Like, we had Andre the Giant. That was our CGI. Like, I just, things like that like, it's so true. I mean, now it's like you could CGI that stuff, but I'm just saying. And then even talking about like the Princess Bride and everything, and I like this because they actually have Rob Reiner, Billy Crystal, Carrie Elways, and Robin Wright in this documentary, kind of talking about their experiences in making Princess Bride and their experiences with Andre the Giant. And they've, I gotta give them credit, especially like Carrie Elways and stuff, and Robin Wright, because I know in the Princess Bride movie that I have, like in the special features, they were talking about him, and they have always had like nothing but like the nicest, kindest words about Andre the Giant. Like, they were kind of saying how, like Andre the Giant, like, yeah, he would come in, he understood that he was there to play a part and everything. Like when he was kind of like, okay, Andre the Giant here to do a movie, he would kind of be in that mode. Okay, let's do the movie. But then like when they would have like just breaks and stuff, and he just was kind of like, he kind of like let that guard down. He just wanted to be like part of like the group and everything. It didn't want to be like, ooh, it's Andre. It's just like, hey, yeah, it's Andre. And like they treated him like that. They treated him like, one of their fellow friends and actors and everything. And they said how it was just so nice to see where he didn't have to like live up to that, legend and that like stardom of like, oh my god, this is Andre the Giant. So it was just so nice to see that. And even like Carrie Elways was sort of talking about like Andre's drinking and everything. He's like, yeah, like, I still hear to this day of people being like, oh my god, he's such a legendary drinker, and like he would drink all this stuff. And he's like, well, in reality, it's like he was drinking because he was in so much pain and everything all the time. Like, he honestly probably wouldn't be drinking if he wasn't in pain, and he definitely would not be drinking that much if he was in pain. Like, like Carrie Elways was like, yeah, for any normal man, the amount that he would drink in one sitting would kill a normal person. And he honestly, like, Carrie Elways was saying, like, he would only drink because he was in such pain about everything, and he was in such pain and everything. So it was just very hard for him, and that's how he dealt with his pain. So it wasn't that he was drinking to have this legendary drinking status. It was basically for his own medical reasons. So, but just, different things like that. And just, talking about like his life and everything, and how he really kind of, back then, he literally kind of was the boss of wrestling, so it's like, if he didn't like something, it's like, no, like, we're not doing it. And it's like, who's gonna really question Andre the Giant, because he could squash anyone. It talks about so many different things, and plus too, and how he was kind of like, he went from promotion to promotion, like, especially back then. For those of you who don't know, back then, like, there was a lot more promotions. It wasn't just like, ooh, WWE, and then like everyone else. It wasn't like WWE, New Japan, TNA, and then maybe some of your like backyard sort of wrestling things. No, this was like each region of the States, and even Canada, they had their own little like territory and everything, and like whatever. So he would be kind of like lent out to different territories, or like he, would be in a territory, he'd be able to work it for like a few months before he would go sign with someone else, because I mean, he was more of an attraction. If you saw him every week, like, yeah, it would, the mystique of him would definitely go away and everything. I mean, even Vince McMahon has admitted, like, when he signed Andre the Giant, he would kind of, he normally does do this, where he would kind of like lend Andre out to different other regions that were still around, because he's like, well, I don't, like, I like him on TV, but I can't have him on every single week, because then people are going to be like, oh, Andre again. It's much more of a spectacle if I have him only on like the 4 pay-per-views rather than each week on Saturday Night Main Event. So just little things like that. I mean, and he was a worker. Like, Andre the Giant was such a worker. It was kind of like, all right, like, what do you need me to do? What do we need to do and stuff? And then also, too, like, his progression of, like, just him, literally, just his body, like, just falling apart, like, and kind of, like, breaking down and everything. Because if you were to watch some of, like, his old stuff from, like, the beginning of his career compared to the end of his career, like, beginning of his career, for a man his size and everything, very agile, very, just, like, was able to take a bump, made it look like he was tossing around ragdoll. End of his career, like, if you look at WrestleMania 3... his match with Hulk Hogan, like, he could barely move. Like, he was bear hugging Hulk Hogan, and Hogan even said, like, yeah, like, years before, he was able to do that and, like, toss me on, like, a ragdoll. This, he literally, like, I had to tell him, like, okay, just tell me when you're at a comfortable spot on my body, and I'll sell it or whatever. And he said that, like, he's holding him, and Andre the Giant's literally, like, almost leaning on him. He's having to carry almost all of his weight, because he just cannot stand up. He's in so much pain. So it's just, it's a very, it's such a tough one to get through. Like I said, Niagara Falls for me on this one. I watched it, like 2 or 3 times, and each time I'm like, like, it just, like, like, Andre the Giant, oh, my gosh. I know you're dog paddling up in heaven, dude. I know you are, man. Gotcha, bro. Anyway, but no, definitely check this out. Like, even if you're not a wrestling fan, it is so worth checking this documentary out. Because, like I said, even if you don't watch wrestling, like, you know who Andre the Giant is. Especially, too, if you're like me, kind of growing up around, like, with, like, Princess Bride and stuff. Or even just, like, his little, like, cameos and everything, different things. It's totally worth checking out. If you guys have checked this documentary out, let me know what you guys think. Till next time, as always, you guys, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.